spot the error. Imposition of minimum import prices for steel, for example, will be mildly positive for the sector according to the note. So according to the note, imposition of minimum import prices for steel, for example, will be mildly positive for the sector. Just so people are following what the meaning or the context is giving, imposition means like an unfair demand, right? A burdensome or an unfair demand. The import prices could differ from place to place, right? So not just one place is importing steel, there are different places importing steel. So imposition of minimum import prices for steel seems logically correct, and it's definitely not dramatically incorrect. Well, I can say you're imposing something on someone, which means when you're forcefully demanding something, right, which is burdensome for them. Yes, but in the context, remember, the only thing in English is, the words have different meanings in different contexts. See, in this context here, you can impose a tax. One of the most common prepositions that go with impose is on. I completely agree. But in different contexts, sometimes for is also accepted. You can impose an order on something. You can impose your views. B. Most of you are coming back and said B. Impose of minimum import prices, not of. Imposition is a noun form, right? I just explained what imposition is. You don't need a verb form there in part A. The prices don't belong to steel, Shri Priya, so it can't be prices of steel. We don't need a preposition that brings in possession meaning. I'm going to go with option B, right? Just to, be safer, because most probably the preposition that you impose something on something. So you don't say imposition on minimum import, imposition of this minimum import prices on what? Steel. So I'm going to go with B, not in. Imposition of minimum import prices on steel, for example, will be mildly positive for the sector according to the note. Yes, imposition on. See, another thing you need to keep in mind is the source might give you a different meaning altogether. The point is for us to go with, at this point of time, we've gone with verb plus preposition collocation, which is fine. I'm moving on to the next one. India will get a report that ranks states according to the ease of doing business vetted by the World Bank in order to avoid, this is for Lavanya. Good to know that all of you are hanging on every word that comes out of my mouth. Collocation, Lavanya, which means fixed expressions used by many people, because we've heard people repeat that in various situations, right? So there are different types of collocations. Now, if you go to, in the English language section, on top you have courseware, course info, student discussion, right, live sessions, and then you have something called reference material. When you click on reference material, you will see on the left hand side handouts, right? In that handout, you have idioms and collocations list. This is for Mauchat as well, right? So I want you to go through that handout. So it gives you examples of collocations. You have different types of collocations. It's mentioned there. I think this handout is also available in the vocabulary section, right? You have fill in the blanks, jumbled sentences, and then you have vocabulary before finding errors, I think. I'm not following the sequence. So in the vocabulary section, you have this again, idioms and collocations handout. I want you to go through that. You will come across a lot of collocations, right? Just to give you an example, healthy diet is a collocation. Round of applause is a collocation. Why? Because these are fixed expressions which people use repeatedly in various contexts, right? Regular exercise is a collocation. Matter of choice is a collocation, right? Impose on is a collocation. Verb plus. So please go through that. India will get a report that ranks states according to the ease of doing business vetted by the World Bank in order to avoid accusations of bias from states that fare poor. Okay, the next question, where are you guys? I already have had somebody saying part 3. Somebody said part 3 has an error. There's a very obvious error in this question. I'm surprised that nobody is able to identify that quickly. India will get a report that ranks states according, so the report is the singular noun here. The report ranks, singular verb, correct. Subject verb agreement is correct. Ranks will not change to rank. Yes, thank you, Shubhadeep. And Arunima, I'm assuming Arunima, that was what you identified in part 4. Right? So India will get a report that ranks states according to the ease of doing business vetted by the World Bank in order to avoid accusations of bias from states that fare poorly. Right? That fare, action word, to what extent are they faring? Poorly. Adverb. I need a adverb here. Right? Change poor to poorly. The error is in part 4. The government is considering lower the minimum import price of marble to check over invoicing by importers and the consequent illegal flow of money. Just reading the sentence only, I know something is sounding very awkward. Something is sounding funny. The function of an infinitive is to talk about the intention or the purpose. Here, I don't need intention or purpose. The second sequence in the sentence is giving me that, right? Why are they doing that? To check. See, this is in the infinitive form. The intention or the purpose is given here. So here I just need the simple verb form in the continuous flow because of, considering. The government is considering lowering the minimum import price of marble. For what? What is the intention? What is the purpose? To check. Now the infinitive form is here. To check over invoicing by importers and the consequent illegal flow of money. So error is in part 2. Change lower to lowering. And also initially, if you were paying attention, I had asked the question what? The government is considering what? Right? So verb plus ing form functioning like a gerund. Somebody pointed that out. We need the gerund form here. Are you following? Lowering the minimum import price of marble is what the government is considering. Yeah? Next one, the Commerce Ministry has launched an online certification program to reach out to potential exporters and mentor them through orientation, counseling sessions and individual facilitation. The reason is 2 reasons. One is, I asked the question what in terms of verb plus ing form. A gerund is what is needed here. That is one. Second, keeping in mind the flow of the thing. There's no need for 2 infinitives because the function of an infinitive, like I mentioned, is to bring out the intention or the purpose. And in the context, that is explained after part 2, to check over invoicing of importers. Yeah, this one is very easy. So Harshit, I don't know if you intentionally put this question or simply you just wanted to. This is an easy one, right? Please help me out with these. So Commerce Ministry launched an online certification program to reach out. Let's just quickly go through the sentence just in case to make sure that there is no other error. To potential customers and mentor them through orientation, counseling sessions and individual facilitation. Seems fine.